sexy on open hips. So if that's what you're liking today for your yoga time, just join me. Grab a hold of your mat. If you have a block, great. If you don't, you can do it without it. So just go ahead and lay on your back. And let's begin with the knees wide and the soles of your feet together. If that's too uncomfortable, just draw the knees together and take your feet wide. Either way, bring your arms over your head and bend at the elbows. Interlace the fingers over the head and soften the shoulders and the arms fully down. Here, close your eyes or focus your gaze. And take a couple deep belly breaths. So with each inhalation, the belly can rise up. Each exhalation, let the body deeply soften. Let the knees come together. Use your exhale to bring both knees into the chest and embrace the legs with your arms. Just rock the spine from side to side. Because we're doing hip opening, I like to work a little bit on hip strengthening as well. So let's do a little bit of that using also some core. So keep your knees on top of your hips and the heels align with the knees. The arms can be alongside the body with the hands grounded right next to the hips. Activate your feet, lengthen through the back of the neck. Activate the low belly and ground down through the shoulders. Now use your inhale to take the right knee out to the side without changing anything about the left leg. And then bring that back to center and switch. You're going to go side to side, watching to keep the pelvis stable, so using your core to keep both hips grounded and using the muscles around the legs to move the thigh bone as you keep the other one completely stable. Side to side a couple times. The next time that you take the right knee out to the extent that you keep everything stable, pause and hold. Use your breath here. Deep, long inhales. And slow down your exhales. Bring that to center and let's hold on the other side. Again, focusing on the breath. Activate the core, ground down through the shoulders. Now release that back to center. Take your knees out wide, grab a hold of the feet, ankles or shins in wide bound angle. You can lift the head and the shoulders and press your feet into your hands to lengthen the arms. And take a couple times to roll the head side to side, tracing the chin around the collarbone. Once you've done that a couple of times, take the knees back together, lengthen the legs out and the arms over your head for a full body stretch. Lengthen your right arm out into a T, ground through the palm of the hands. Take your right knee in. You can grab a hold of the knee with your left hand. Now, feet can be active, flexed, or pointed, whatever you prefer. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, bring the knee over to the left for a lower body stretch. Here you can hold for a moment, just to release the outer hip that we have just worked on. If you prefer, you can also extend the top leg or move by bending and straightening a couple times. Eventually roll all the way over to the side of the body. You can use your hand underneath the head or your arm underneath the head to support the neck. Lengthen the bottom leg and keep your right knee grounded to the floor. Your right hand can go on the hip or on the floor. You're gonna activate the inner thigh now. Gonna use each inhale to bring the left leg up as high as you can and back a little bit so you can feel the activation of the glute. And then exhale, lower. And follow your breath to move in and out of this. The next time that you bring the leg up and back, hold and just pulse the leg up and down. Couple more moments. And release the leg when you're ready. Release the head down. If you want something underneath the head, you can use a blanket or a block. And you can also use something underneath that knee for more support. Now take your right arm over your head to lengthen the side of the body. And then exhale, twist the heart up towards the ceiling, bringing your right arm out. Let the head roll with the twist and go in and out of it. So before we did the lower body twist, this one is focusing on the upper body. So the hips remain in place, the knee in contact to the block. So you're moving through the T-spine. And eventually you can go ahead and hold with the heart open towards the ceiling. Keep the glutes active, the bottom leg long. Through each breath, you can expand the ribs. And in the exhale, soften the body fully into the floor. Make your way back to center, laying down on your back. And you're gonna step your feet wide towards the edges of your mat with the knees bent, and just do a couple windshield wipes. So each exhalation, lower the knees over to one side. Come to center with the inhale and switch. Once you've gone side to side, equally lengthen back into a full body. Stretch. Roll out the ankles, the wrists. Bend the left knee in. Take your left arm out. Use your right hand to grab a hold on top of the knee. And then bring the leg across the body. First, just stay here for a moment. You can add the lengthening of the top leg. You can bend and straighten a couple times if you prefer. Then you can bend the knee, let the knee rest on the floor, and stack the hips and shoulders on top of each other. If If you want to support your head, you can bend at the elbow. Then you're going to do a couple leg raises with the bottom leg. Use the inhale to lift and bring it back behind you, active glutes, and lower down the exhales. Next time you lift, hold, and just pulse the leg up and down. Release that out. We're going to move from the side of the body into the belly. So you can keep that knee, the left knee out to the side, opening up the inner thigh. And take your left cheek into the floor, so you're turning opposite direction of the knee to create a deeper stretch on the neck. Let the body, the belly, the hips soften deeply into the floor. At this point, the breath can be easy and soft. With as little effort as needed, switch the knee and the gaze. Bring your head to center, both legs back behind you. Take your hands right underneath the elbows. Squeeze the legs together and press them down with active glutes. With your inhale, bring the chest up and forward. And with each exhalation now, you're going to bring one shoulder down as you gaze to the opposite direction. Inhale, come back to center. And as you exhale, bring the left shoulder down as you gaze on the direction of the right. So a little bit of shoulder mobility here and spinal extension. Once you have gone side to side equally, pause in the center, bring the shoulders back. And release the forehead down. Take your left arm out into a T. The right hand can come close to the lower ribs. Gaze over to the right. Bend at the right knee, pick up the right leg, and let the foot touch the floor behind you. Move a little bit in and out of this so you can ease your body towards the posture. Make sure you're activating the glutes, low belly, and keep the left arm to the height of the shoulder, or maybe a little bit higher, with the palm of the hand fully grounded. The next time that you open the front of the body, hold. If you want to add a deeper stretch on the heart space, you can add the right arm up and back. Super active glutes, lengthen the bottom leg. Breathe in and out through the nose, soften the jaw. to do the same on the other side, belly twist. So right arm long, gaze over to the left, bend the left knee and work in and out of the posture before holding. Use your breath to lead your movements. And hold when you're ready. You can add the arm if you want, or you can keep the left arm down. Come around to center. Forehead down, take both hands underneath the shoulders to press up to hands and knees. In hands and knees, you can do a couple rounds of cat and cow. So use your inhale to draw the shoulder blades together and open the heart forward. And your exhale, round the spine, bring the shoulder blades apart. Each inhale, let the body be filled with the inhale fully. Each exhale, release it slowly, all the way to the bottom. Once you moved a couple times, just pause with the spine long. And the next movement, I'm going to show you two variations. So one, you're going to stay here on hands and knees. Take your leg back, one leg back. Turn the toes out and bend the knee towards the left elbow. You're going to do that a couple times with your own breath. If you want to take up a notch on a little bit more effort, you can go ahead and find your way to a downward dog. And then vary from three-legged downward dog into plank. So choose the postures that work for you today. And use your breath to move in and out of it. Whatever variation you're doing, hold the next time the knee comes close to the elbow. Take a couple deep breaths. Release back. In both variations, just take a moment to rest with the knees wide, big toes together in child's pose. Here, take a deep belly breaths. Next inhale, come back up, take your knees underneath the hips. If you're doing the hands and knees variation, extend the right leg back, turn the toes out and bend the right knee towards the right elbow. Keep the arms strong and straight, the glutes active, shoulder blades slightly apart, so there's this energy of pressing down and away from gravity. Or you can do the variation of downward dog. Same activations here. Hold with the knee close to the elbow. Breathe as you hold, soften your jaw, and activate what's needed to support the posture. And press back. Feet down. Come around back into the child's pose. Take a couple deep belly breaths. In this child's pose this time, add a lateral bend, so walk the hands over to the right. Release the forehead down and just breathe into the side of the body. Move around through center and to the other side. Using each inhale to expand the ribs, each exhalation to soften a bit deeper. Come back around to center. Come back to hands and knees, knees underneath the hips, extend the right leg back, bend the knee and step the foot forward. Now take your back toes under and take a quarter turn to the left long edge of your mat. Keep your heels out and the toes in and forward fold. Now here is where it's going to be good if you have a block or anything a little bit elevated to keep your spine long. Once you're here, with your block or whatever you have available, take the toes out and the heels in. You're going to go side to side, bending one knee at a time. So bend at the right knee, keep the left leg extended, but with a soft bend behind the knee, so you're not locking the joint. Keep both feet equally active and grounded. Spread and lift the toes. And see that you can lengthen the spine as much as possible here using the core, the muscles on the back, and some support with the hands. You're not dumping your weight fully there, just a little bit of assistance. Let's hold one side for a moment so you can deepen that stretch on the inner thigh. The knee that is bent, aim it towards the pinky side of the foot. Lift up through the tailbone. Come around through center and to the other side. Once you come back to center, turn the toes back in and the heels out, and release the head and the shoulders down into a forward fold. Bend the knees as much as needed. Come up into a flat back, turn back around, all 10 toes facing forward, so you return to where you begin, with the knee down, step back into hands and knees, and make your way into your downward facing dog. Stuck your toes down there, lengthen your spine, pressing your hips up high, release the forehead down. You can paddle through the heels here if you like to release the calf. the knees down. This time, extend the left leg back. And you're gonna slide the leg out to the side. You can do it here, sliding on the floor like that. You're gonna keep it on one side for now. If you want more effort, you can keep the leg lifted. Either way, you're working on the same muscles and the same opening. Use the arms, super strong, straight. Use the back foot. Eventually hold. Variation, foot down or up. Take your leg back. Release with the knees together, heels together into child's pose. Come back up when you're ready. I'm gonna do the other side, so if you did sliding the leg, continue to do that on the other side. If you did the other variation, the leg lifted, repeat it on the other side. Hold either variation. Keep the breath flowing freely and soft. When you're ready to release and rest, come back into your child's pose. Let everything soften deeply. Use your inhale to come back up to hands and knees. This time step your left foot forward, tuck your back toes under, take a quarter, turn to the other end of your mat. I'm gonna turn just so you can see me better. Turn the heels out, the toes out and the heels in. This time bend at both knees so they land right above the ankles. And bind the forearms inside the inner thighs. I'm going to take a couple deep breaths in here in this variation of horse. And once you have done a little bit of opening on the inner thigh, you can begin to move in here. So once you move, you can just lengthen the legs, bring your arms over your head. Exhale, sit down and back into horse. Couple rounds. The next time you sit down and back, hold for a breath, 2, maybe 3. Release it all back out. Once the hands find the heart again, take them into the hips, turn the heels out, the toes in, and return into your forward fold. Release the neck and the shoulders fully. Can add a lateral bend here, walking the hands over to one foot. And the other. So come back around to center, turn back to the front of your mat, and step back into hands and knees. Find a downward facing dog. Now extend your right leg back. Take a breath in there. Bend your right knee in, bring the right knee towards the right wrist and the right heel underneath the left hip. Here you're in pigeon. You can stay here or you can come down to the forearms. Tuck the back toes under, press back through the heel just to lengthen the leg and then set it back down. Keep the glutes active and scissor the hips with the sense of pressing the left hip forward, the right hip back. Keep the back of the neck long. Tuck the sternum a little bit to activate the core. And don't forget the activation of the glutes and the legs towards the floor. Breathe deeply. Now go ahead and sit on the right hip. Bring both legs forward in front of you. Make space to ground down for the sitting bones, lengthen the spine. Bend at the right knee and bring the leg across the left leg. Plant the foot fully on the floor, keep both feet active. Use your left arm to wrap around the bent knee and open the heart for a moment. Press the knee in, press the heart into the leg. Keep the right hip grounded. Then take your right hand back and gaze back towards your right shoulder. Each inhale, lengthen the spine, open the heart. Each exhale, twist a little bit deeper as you press the knee in. Come around to your center and back to hands and knees so you can do the other side. Find downward facing dog first. Long spine, lift up through the tailbone and reach your left leg up and back. Bend the left knee in towards the left wrist and land the right heel about underneath the right hip. Then you can come down to the forearms, extend the back leg, set it back down, and hug the hips towards one another, so scissor the hips. Legs remain active, pressing into the floor, as well as the core by tucking the sternum in a little bit. Soften the face and the jaw, and returning to the awareness of your own breathing. You may notice that one hip tighter than the other. That's common. So since you're doing this at home, you can expand a little bit longer on the hip that feels tighter. Keep the feet really active for this one, is very important to protect the knees. So spread and lift the toes, mainly on the leg that you're opening up the hip. Then sit into the left hip to bring the legs forward in front of you. Ground down for the sitting bones, lengthen the spine. When you're ready, bend at the left knee, bring it across the right leg, plant the foot down. You can hug the left leg with your right arm and bring the knee towards the chest as you open the heart. Take your left hand behind you and gaze over your left shoulder. With each inhale, see as an opportunity to lengthen Each exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Let your gaze follow the movement of the hand. Bring both legs forward again. Reach your arms forward, begin to tuck the chin towards the chest and round the spine so you can slowly roll yourself down into your back. Once you find your back, let's release a little bit the front of the hips. Just bring the hips back into symmetry. So I'm gonna just do a couple postures that both legs are doing the same thing. If you like to do something different at home, feel free. The compensation is just both legs doing the same thing. So symmetrical posture around the hips. So you can prepare for bridge if you'd like. Use align with the sitting bones. Use the inhales to bring the hips up and the exhale to lower the hips. And do that a couple times. Make sure you're using the glutes to create the lift. And you can hold for a few breaths. Still opening up the front of the hips. Release the hips down. Take the knees back in. Take the knees out wide with the soles of the feet together so you return to wide bound angle. And if you'd like to continue to open the hips, use the two first fingers to grab a hold of the big toes. And as you keep the knees out and towards the floor, just flip the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. Keep the knees bent and press the tailbone into the floor. Keep the back of the neck long for happy baby pose. Here you can rock the spine side to side, massaging the back. You can bring the legs together to release the hamstrings if you'd like. Either keeping the big toe hold or just bringing the hands behind the thighs. Release all of that down. Bring the legs out, the arms out, and prepare for Shavasana. So make yourself comfortable. If you need pillows underneath the knees or a blanket on top of the body. With your eyes closed, let the breath be fully soft. Maybe take one deep breath. Hold it at the top and release it out through the mouth, allowing the body to melt into the floor. And repeat that if you'd like. Let the breath become soft and easy, coming in and out through the nose. Soften the muscles around your face, the jaw. Soften the top of your head, the neck and the throat. Release the weight of the shoulders and the arms. Begin to feel the heart softening, letting go of any tension. Notice the movement of the breath on the belly that naturally occurs on the belly. By a deep, relaxed core. And soften the hips as you release the weight of the legs and the feet fully into gravity. Gonna stay here in full relaxation, Shavasana, for a couple minutes. Really surrender into the practice of letting go, of just being soft and open. Swallow. Begin to deepen your breath gradually. Maybe smile gently to yourself. Allowing the head to roll side to side. Bring gentle movements through the toes and the fingers. You can bring it up to the wrists and the ankles. Stretch yourself into a full body stretch. Bend one knee at a time. And roll into one side of your body, resting your head on the bottom arm. Then roll yourself slowly up into an easy seated posture. Take your hands into the heart space, bow the chin down and in, honoring the present moment with deep gratitude. The light in me bows and sees the very same light within each one of you. Thank you for joining, and Namaste. Hope you enjoyed this and have a great rest of your day.